There's something special about the recipes passed down from our grandmothers, simple, savory dishes that have been made with love for generations. These recipes remind us of family gatherings, the comfort of home, and the feel of a good meal. From savory classics to sweet favorites, these 50 forgotten recipes offer a delicious journey into the past.
Today I'm going to show y'all how to make the most fantastic cornflake peanut butter cookie you'll ever make in your life.
1. Cornflakes butter cookies. Cornflake butter cookies are a nostalgic treat that takes us back to an era when simple ingredients created culinary magic. The cookies begin with crushed cornflakes as the base, combined with butter, sugar, and flour to create a dough that bakes into crisp and flavorful morsels. These cookies' texture, a mix of crunch from the cereal and tenderness from the buttery base, is a testament to resourceful home cooking, especially during times when frugality was key. Grandmothers loved these cookies because they could be made in large batches, perfect for sharing during holiday gatherings, church socials, or neighborhood events. While the classic recipe is delightful, variations allow for personal touches. Adding chocolate chips, coconut flakes, or dried fruit elevates the cookies, making them suitable for both adults and children. Cornflake butter cookies are more than just a snack. They're a reflection of tradition and comfort. They're often served with a glass of milk or a cup of tea. They prove that even the simplest recipes can carry the weight of cherished memories. Now, let's explore the next recipe, which brings a fun change to the mix.
And welcome to Learn to Cook Hungarian Virtually.
2. Hungarian nut rolls. Hungarian nut rolls usually required both skill and patience. These rolls begin with a yeast dough enriched with eggs and butter, rolled out thin and filled with a rich walnut or poppy seed paste. The dough is then tightly rolled, creating spirals of filling, and baked until golden brown. The recipe, often handed down through generations, speaks to the resourcefulness of homemakers who turned basic pantry staples into celebratory desserts. The nut rolls are typically made during holidays like Christmas and Easter, their intricate preparation making them a true labor of love. The filling, a mixture of finely ground nuts, sugar, and sometimes a hint of cinnamon or rum, contrasts beautifully with the tender dough. Grandmothers often involved children in the preparation, teaching them the techniques of tradition. The nut rolls symbolize more than food. They embody familial bonds and cultural heritage. Topped with powdered sugar, these rolls taste as good as they look. Served with coffee or tea, they hold a permanent spot on festive tables. After trying this recipe, let's move on to the next one that offers a fresh twist.
If you really like pies and easy-to-make desserts, then you are going to love this classic shoe fly pie.
3. Shoe fly pie. Shoe fly pie is an iconic dessert that has been passed down through generations of Pennsylvania Dutch families. This unique pie is built around a rich, sticky filling made from molasses, brown sugar, and water, combined with a small amount of flour to create its signature texture. The name shoe fly is said to originate from the sweet molasses' tendency to attract flies, requiring constant shooing during preparation. Grandmothers loved preparing this dish because of the simplicity and versatility of the recipe. Made with ingredients often found in farm kitchens, shoe fly pie required no refrigeration, making it practical for rural lifestyles. Its crumb topping, typically made with butter, flour, and sugar, adds a contrasting crunch to the gooey filling beneath. The pie's flavor is a perfect balance of sweet and earthy tones, with molasses as the star ingredient. Variations of the recipe exist, including wet bottom pies with a syrupy base and dry bottom pies with a more cake-like consistency. Regardless of the variation, shoe fly pie is a nostalgic reminder of simpler times and the ingenuity of rural homemakers. Today, it remains a beloved classic, evoking warm memories of Grandma's table. Having enjoyed that dish, it's time for something a little bolder.
Today, I wanted to share with you some ground beef recipes that I know that you guys are going to love.
4. Ground beef casserole. Ground beef casserole is a typical comfort food that found its way onto countless dinner tables. This dish is a combination of ground beef, pasta, vegetables, and cheese, all layered and baked into a bubbling, savory masterpiece. A favorite among grandmothers, this casserole is both economical and nourishing, making it a staple for feeding large families. The process begins with browning the ground beef, often seasoned with onions, garlic, and spices. Once cooked, the beef is combined with cooked pasta and a rich tomato or cream-based sauce. Vegetables like peas, green beans, or bell peppers are added for color and nutrition. Finally, A generous layer of cheese is spread over the top before baking, creating a golden, melty crust that's hard to resist. Ground beef casserole was often a lifesaver on busy days, as it could be assembled ahead of time and popped into the oven just before dinner. It also served as an excellent way to use up leftover ingredients, demonstrating the resourcefulness of home cooks. Paired with a simple green salad or a slice of homemade bread, it's a complete meal that brings warm memories of Grandma's care. Now let's explore the next recipe, which brings a fun change to the mix.
Today on Mama Bui's menu, we are making beef liver.
5 liver and onions. Liver and onions is a dish that many grandmothers held dear, especially during times when utilizing every part of an animal was essential. This recipe combines tender slices of liver from beef or chicken with caramelized onions. Its nutritional value and rich flavor made it a staple in many households. The preparation begins with soaking the liver in milk or buttermilk to mellow its strong flavor. The liver is then lightly dredged in flour and pan-fried to achieve a delicate crust. The onions, cooked until golden and sweet, add a counterbalance to the savory richness of the liver. Some variations include adding a splash of balsamic vinegar or beef stock to the onions to create a light sauce that ties the dish together. Grandmothers cherished this dish not only for its flavor, but also for its affordability and health benefits. Rich in iron, protein, and essential vitamins, liver was a go-to ingredient for ensuring their families received proper nutrition. It was often served alongside mashed potatoes or buttery peas, making for a comforting and complete meal. Today, liver and onions remains a nostalgic dish that evokes memories of simpler times, where every bite was a reminder of Grandma's love and resourcefulness. Up next is a recipe that adds a creative touch to the classics.
Tomato soup in a cake? Yes. Today I'm going to show you a mystery cake recipe, and when you take it and serve it to your friends, they are all going to be wondering what makes it so good.
6 old-fashioned tomato soup cake. Tomato soup cake is a recipe that showcases the creativity of grandmothers during the Great Depression. This dessert, which uses canned tomato soup as its secret ingredient, surprises with its moist texture and spiced flavor. The tomato soup acts as a tenderizing agent, creating a cake that's rich, soft, and full of character. The batter begins with the soup, sugar, and butter, blended with flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves for a spiced profile. Raisins or walnuts are often added for texture and sweetness. Despite the unusual base, the flavor of tomato soup is undetectable in the final product, giving way to a sweet and aromatic cake that pairs beautifully with cream cheese frosting or a simple dusting of powdered sugar. Tomato soup cake is a testament to the resourcefulness of homemakers during tough economic times when ingredients like milk and eggs were scarce. By turning to canned goods and pantry staples, grandmothers could whip up a dessert that felt indulgent despite its humble origins. This cake often appeared at church socials, family gatherings, or holiday tables, where its surprising backstory became a topic of conversation. To this day, it serves as a delicious reminder of how adversity can inspire culinary creativity. From one tasty dish to another, the next dish dives into a new flavor.
Chicken and dumplings is a dish that I didn't grow up eating, but when I eat it now as an adult, I somehow gush with nostalgia.
7 chicken and dumplings. Chicken and dumplings is a typical comfort food that grandmothers often turn to during chilly evenings or as a remedy for colds. This dish features tender pieces of chicken cooked in a flavorful broth, thickened slightly to create a creamy base. The crowning glory, of course, is the dumplings. Soft, pillowy morsels made from flour, butter, and milk drop directly into the bubbling stew. Preparation begins by simmering a whole chicken with aromatic vegetables like celery, carrots, and onions. The slow cooking not only yields a rich, savory broth, but also ensures the chicken becomes fall-off-the-bone tender. Once the chicken is shredded and returned to the pot, the dumplings are added, absorbing the savory broth as they cook. Some recipes use flat, noodle-like dumplings, while others feature fluffy, biscuit-style ones, depending on regional or family traditions. This dish was a favorite for its ability to feed a crowd using simple, affordable ingredients. For many, the smell of chicken and dumplings simmering on the stove evokes memories of a grandmother's love and care. Today, it remains a cherished recipe, celebrated for its heartwarming simplicity and ability to bring people together around the table. Let's switch gears with a recipe that offers something vibrant and exciting.
Now, you might think of a Jell-O mold as kind of an old-fashioned dish that belongs back in the 1950s or 60s. But I'm here to show you that this vintage dish belongs on your table today.
8. Jell-O salad. Jell-O salad is a nostalgic dish that graced many of Grandma's tables, especially during holidays. Unlike a traditional salad, this dish is a sweet, gelatin-based dessert often filled with fruits, marshmallows, or even nuts. The base of the salad is flavored gelatin, usually in bright hues like lime, cherry, or orange. Fruits such as canned pineapple, mandarin oranges, or cherries are suspended in the gelatin, creating a visually striking dish. Jell-O salad became popular in the mid-20th century, a time when convenience foods were on the rise. Grandmothers loved it because it was easy to prepare, required minimal cooking, and could be made ahead of time. This dish was often served as a side during festive meals or as a light dessert. Its whimsical appearance made it particularly appealing to children, while its sweet and tangy flavors delighted guests of all ages. Today, Jell-O salad remains a symbol of mid-century culinary trends and the joy of gathering with family. Now that we've wrapped up this one, here's a new dish with a fun twist.
I'm going to share with you how to make a super easy and delicious beef stew.
Beef stew is a savory and satisfying dish that has graced many dinner tables for generations, offering warmth, especially on colder days. This dish is a classic one-pot meal where chunks of beef are simmered with root vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and onions in a savory broth. Grandmothers loved making beef stew because it was a meal that could stretch a small amount of beef to feed a large family, making it both economical and nourishing. The key to a flavorful beef stew lies in the slow cooking process, which allows the meat to become tender and absorb the deep flavors of the broth. Often seasoned with garlic, bay leaves, thyme, and pepper, the stew is a delicious balance of savory flavors. The versatility of beef stew made it a go-to for family gatherings, whether it was a Sunday dinner or a cold winter evening. Variations exist, with some recipes adding wine or tomato paste to enhance the depth of flavor. The thickened broth is the ultimate comfort, paired perfectly with crusty bread or homemade rolls. Even as time passes, beef stew remains a beloved dish, offering a tangible connection to home-cooked meals and the memories of grandmothers in the kitchen, taking time to prepare something special for their loved ones. Ready for something different? The next recipe is sure to surprise.
Today I'm going to show you how to make the best potato salad. This recipe is simple and quick. You don't need a lot of ingredients.
Potato salad. Potato salad is a staple side dish that appears at countless family gatherings, barbecues, and picnics, often made with the freshest ingredients and a personal twist. While the ingredients and flavors may vary, the traditional recipe involves boiled potatoes mixed with mayonnaise, mustard, and chopped vegetables like celery, onions, and pickles. This salad is popular because it is versatile and easy to make in large quantities. Grandmothers loved preparing potato salad because it could be made ahead of time and served cold, making it ideal for outdoor meals. The balance of creamy, tangy, and crunchy elements made it a hit with guests, and its ability to complement almost any main dish made it a go-to during family celebrations. Some variations include adding boiled eggs, bacon bits, or even fresh herbs like dill for added flavor. One of the reasons potato salad remains such a cherished recipe is its deep connection to tradition. It is the type of dish that carries the scent of family gatherings, where each grandmother's recipe was slightly different, yet equally treasured. Now that you've tried that, let's dive into the next recipe with a whole new vibe.
Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making some quick and easy, delicious cornbread.
Cornbread. Cornbread is a cherished recipe that has stood the test of time, particularly in Southern households. This golden, slightly crumbly bread is made from a simple batter of cornmeal, flour, eggs, milk, and a touch of sugar for sweetness. Whether served as a side dish to soups, stews, or fried chicken, cornbread has been a comforting staple on Grandma's table. The preparation process is straightforward, often beginning with heating a cast iron skillet in the oven. The hot skillet is then greased, usually with bacon fat or butter, to create a crisp crust. The batter is poured in and baked to perfection, resulting in a loaf that's soft and moist inside with a crunchy golden brown exterior. Some variations include adding jalapenos, shredded cheese, or creamed corn for added flavor and texture. Grandmothers often made cornbread because it was inexpensive, quick to prepare, and could be made in large quantities to feed a family. Its versatility also made it a favorite, as it could be enjoyed on its own with a pat of butter or used to mop up rich gravies and sauces. For many, cornbread brings back fond memories of family meals, where its comforting aroma filled the kitchen and its buttery flavor completed the plate. Even today, cornbread remains a beloved tradition, symbolizing warmth, hospitality, and the simple joys of home cooking. Let's keep the momentum going with a recipe that's just as fun and tasty: rice pudding. Rice pudding is a creamy, sweet dessert that's both humble and indulgent. Made with simple ingredients like rice, milk, sugar, and a hint of vanilla, it was a favorite among grandmothers who appreciated its affordability and versatility. The process begins with cooking rice until tender, then simmering it with milk and sugar to create a rich, creamy base. Spices like cinnamon or nutmeg are often added for warmth, while raisins, dried fruits, or nuts can be incorporated for texture and flavor. Some grandmothers preferred baking their rice pudding, creating a caramelized crust on top, while others opted for a stovetop method for a silkier consistency. Rice pudding was particularly beloved because it utilized pantry staples, making it accessible even during lean times. It was a dish that could be served warm on a cold day or chilled during the summer, providing comfort year-round. For many, this dessert brings back memories of sitting at the kitchen table, savoring a bowl topped with a drizzle of cream or a sprinkle of sugar. In addition to its taste, rice pudding carries a sense of nostalgia, representing the resourcefulness and love that grandmothers poured into their cooking. Today, it continues to be a popular treat, connecting generations with its timeless flavor and creamy, satisfying texture. Time for something new. The next recipe brings a fresh take on your favorites.
Today I'm sharing my easy 3-ingredient biscuit recipe, and they are soft, buttery, flaky, and so delicious.
Homemade biscuits. Homemade biscuits are a simple yet iconic comfort food, perfect for breakfast or as a side to any meal. Made with just flour, butter, baking powder, and milk, these soft, flaky treats were a regular on Grandma's table. The dough is prepared by cutting cold butter into the flour until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Adding milk brings it all together into a dough, which is gently mixed to avoid overworking the dough, ensuring a light, tender texture. The dough is then rolled out, cut into rounds, and baked until golden brown. Grandmothers often made these biscuits to accompany hearty meals like gravy or stew, and they were also a great way to use up leftover butter or milk. Their simplicity meant they could be prepared quickly, and they were always a hit with the family. Whether eaten with jam, honey, or a dollop of cream, homemade biscuits bring warmth and nostalgia. Despite the rise of pre-made options, they continue to be a beloved classic, connecting generations with their comforting, buttery goodness. After that delicious dish, it's time to experience a completely new flavor: apple crisp. Apple crisp is a dessert that combines sweet, tender apples with a crunchy, buttery topping, creating a perfect balance of textures. The recipe is simple: sliced apples mixed with sugar and cinnamon, topped with a mixture of oats, butter, and flour, then baked until golden and bubbling. This dessert was a favorite because it utilized seasonal apples, making it an easy and cost-effective option in the fall. The crisp topping gives the dish its name, offering a satisfying contrast to the soft, caramelized apples beneath. Some variations include adding walnuts or raisins for extra flavor, but the classic version is just as popular. For many, apple crisp brings back memories of cozy fall evenings spent with family. The house filled with the scent of apples and cinnamon, it's a dish that has been passed down through generations, with each grandmother adding her own twist. Despite its simplicity, apple crisp remains a beloved dessert, offering a taste of home that evokes warmth, comfort, and tradition. Now that you're familiar with the first dish, it's time to dive into another exciting recipe: cabbage rolls. Cabbage rolls are a classic dish that combines hearty cabbage leaves with savory fillings. The leaves are blanched, then stuffed with a mixture of seasoned ground beef, rice, and vegetables before being rolled up and simmered in a flavorful tomato sauce. Grandmothers loved making cabbage rolls because they could be prepared in advance and often served to a crowd. The dish is versatile, as the filling can be modified with different spices or meats, and it's a great way to use up extra cabbage. The slow cooking process allows the flavors to meld together, creating a comforting meal with a rich, hearty taste. This dish was a family favorite for its simplicity and filling nature. It also offered an opportunity for family members to bond while preparing the rolls together. Cabbage rolls, with their satisfying combination of tender cabbage and flavorful stuffing, remain a beloved meal that speaks to the joy of home-cooked, heartwarming food. Having enjoyed the previous one, it's time to switch things up with something different: lemon meringue pie. Lemon meringue pie is a classic dessert known for its perfect balance of tangy lemon filling and sweet, fluffy meringue. The buttery crust is filled with a tart lemon custard, topped with a light and airy meringue, then baked until golden and crisp. Grandmothers often made this pie for special occasions or holiday meals, as it was both visually stunning and delicious. The bright citrus flavor of the lemon custard paired with the sweetness of the meringue created a contrast that delighted taste buds. The meringue, made from egg whites and sugar, is carefully whipped whipped to form stiff peaks, ensuring a perfect, smooth texture. Lemon meringue pie continues to be a favorite because it combines simplicity with elegance. Whether served during a family gathering or enjoyed on a quiet afternoon, the pie brings a sense of nostalgia for many who recall grandmothers making it from scratch. The balance of flavors and textures has kept this dessert timeless, passed down through generations. Next, we'll explore a recipe that's quick to prepare and bursting with flavor. Jelly roll cake. Jelly roll cake is a light and fluffy dessert made from a sponge cake that is baked, rolled up with a sweet filling, and dusted with powdered sugar. The classic filling often consists of fruit preserves or whipped cream, creating a deliciously sweet, moist treat. This cake was a popular choice because it's both impressive and simple to prepare. The light texture of the sponge cake, which is made using eggs, sugar, and flour, allows it to roll up without cracking, making it easy to create a beautiful dessert that looks as good as it tastes. Jelly roll cake was often served at gatherings or special occasions, with grandmothers preparing it to showcase their baking skills. The rolled shape and vibrant filling give it an aesthetic appeal, while the combination of sweetness and fluffiness makes it a crowd pleaser. For many, jelly roll cake carries a sense of nostalgia, reminding them of family celebrations and homemade desserts made with love. The timeless appeal of this cake ensures it remains a favorite in many kitchens today. Ready to try something else? Our next recipe is simple, yet packed with savory flavor. Chili. Chili is a robust, flavorful dish that blends meat, beans, and spices into a comforting stew. Ground beef or turkey is browned and combined with beans, tomatoes, onions, and chili peppers, creating a rich, spicy base. The dish is simmered for hours to develop deep flavors and is typically served with toppings like cheese, sour cream, and green onions. Chili was a favorite in many households because it was a filling one-pot meal that could easily be scaled up for larger families or gatherings. It also allowed for customization, adding more beans or vegetables for variety or adjusting the spice level to suit different tastes. Grandmothers would often make chili in large batches, allowing it to last for several meals. It was particularly popular during cooler months, offering warmth and comfort. For many, chili is more than just a meal. It's a symbol of family and tradition, passed down as a recipe that continues to bring people together. Next up, we have a recipe that's both comforting and easy to make: fried chicken. Fried chicken is a beloved dish with crispy golden skin and juicy meat. The chicken is seasoned, often with a mix of spices, then dipped in a flour batter and deep fried to perfection. The breading creates a crunchy exterior that contrasts wonderfully with the tender, flavorful chicken inside. Grandmothers loved making fried chicken because it was a crowd pleaser, easy to prepare in large quantities, and incredibly satisfying. It was a dish that could be served at family gatherings, picnics, or Sunday dinners, and was always guaranteed to make everyone smile. The secret to great fried chicken often lies in the seasoning, with some grandmothers using a signature spice blend passed down through generations. The dish also had a sense of nostalgia for many, evoking memories of Sunday dinners or celebrations. The crispy, well-seasoned exterior and tender interior made fried chicken a timeless favorite. It remains one of the most iconic comfort foods, cherished for its irresistible flavor and the memories it brings. Up next, a recipe that brings something fresh to the table: tuna casserole. Tuna casserole is a classic comfort food that combines tuna, pasta, and a creamy sauce, all baked together until golden and bubbly. The dish typically includes canned tuna, cream of mushroom soup, peas, and egg noodles, creating a rich, savory base. Some variations include adding cheese or breadcrumbs for extra flavor and texture. Grandmothers often made tuna casserole because it was an affordable, easy-to-make dish that could feed a family. It used pantry staples, making it perfect for those busy days when you needed something quick yet filling. The creamy texture paired with the mild flavor of tuna made it comforting and satisfying. Tuna casserole also became a go-to dish for busy moms and grandmothers who wanted to prepare something that could be made in advance and enjoyed later. It was often served with a side of bread or salad, making it a complete meal. For many, tuna casserole remains a nostalgic dish that reminds them of family meals and home-cooked comfort. Moving on to the next dish, this one's a crowd pleaser: macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese is a timeless dish loved by many for its creamy, cheesy sauce and comforting texture. The dish typically consists of cooked elbow macaroni combined with a rich cheese sauce made from butter, flour, milk, and shredded cheese. It can be baked in the oven for a crispy top or served as a stovetop dish for a quicker version. Grandmothers often made macaroni and cheese because it was inexpensive, filling, and loved by all ages. It's a dish that can be easily customized by adding extras such as bacon, breadcrumbs, or vegetables, allowing appealing for versatility. The comforting, melty cheese sauce combined with the soft pasta is a favorite combination that's hard to beat. Macaroni and cheese was often served at family gatherings, holidays, or as a side dish to complement main meals like fried chicken or roast. For many, it's a nostalgic reminder of family meals and home-cooked comfort food. The simple yet satisfying flavors of macaroni and cheese make it a dish that has been passed down for generations, ensuring its place on dinner tables for years to come. Now that we've covered that, let's dive into a recipe that's perfect for any occasion. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie is a staple dessert for many during the fall and holiday seasons. Made from a creamy filling of pureed pumpkin, eggs, sugar, and a blend of spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, the pie is baked in a buttery, flaky crust. The result is a rich, flavorful dessert that pairs perfectly with a dollop of whipped cream. Grandmothers often baked pumpkin pie during Thanksgiving and other family gatherings, as it's a dessert that signals the beginning of the holiday season. The use of fresh or canned pumpkin gives the pie its signature flavor, while the spices create a warming, aromatic fragrance that fills the kitchen. Pumpkin pie is a dish that brings back memories of family traditions, from helping in the kitchen to gathering around the table. Its seasonal appeal and comforting flavor make it a holiday favorite, and it's a recipe passed down through generations. For many, pumpkin pie is not just a dessert, it's a reminder of cherished moments spent with loved ones. If you liked the last one, you'll love this next dish. Banana pudding. Banana pudding is a dessert that combines creamy custard, layers of ripe bananas, and vanilla wafers. The dish is typically topped with whipped cream or meringue and then baked to create a beautiful golden crust. Grandmothers often made banana pudding because it's both simple and comforting, making it perfect for family gatherings or after a hearty meal. The layers of soft, ripe bananas mixed with the sweet custard create a rich texture that's balanced by the crunch of the vanilla wafers. Banana pudding was often prepared in a large dish so that it could serve a crowd, and it has become a beloved dessert for holidays and summer gatherings. Some variations of the dish involve using homemade custard, while others opt for instant pudding mix for convenience. Banana pudding evokes nostalgia for many, reminding them of family meals and gatherings. For grandmothers, this dessert was an easy way to use up ripe bananas and create something delicious that the whole family could enjoy. Its sweet, creamy flavor continues to be a favorite among both children and adults, making it a timeless dessert. Let's jump into another one that's sure to please your taste buds.
Today, we are making this juicy, delicious meatloaf recipe.
Meatloaf. Meatloaf is a classic comfort food that's hearty and satisfying. Ground beef, or a mix of meats, is combined with breadcrumbs, eggs, onions, and seasonings, then baked into a loaf shape. It's often glazed with a mixture of ketchup or tomato sauce, adding a sweet and tangy finish to the dish. Grandmothers often made meatloaf because it was an economical meal that could feed a family. The dish is flexible, allowing for variations such as adding vegetables, herbs, or different seasonings to suit personal preferences. Meatloaf also has the benefit of being a great make-ahead dish, as it can be cooked in advance and enjoyed for multiple meals throughout the week. Serving meatloaf with mashed potatoes and vegetables made it a complete, well-rounded meal. Its savory flavor and comforting texture have made it a staple in many households. Whether served hot or cold in sandwiches, meatloaf has remained a beloved dish for generations, cherished for both its taste and practicality. Let's move forward with a dish that's both flavorful and easy to prepare.
To go with the biscuits I've got in the oven, I'm making a big batch of sausage gravy.
Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy is a Southern classic that has found its place in breakfast tables across the country. The dish consists of soft, flaky biscuits smothered in a creamy, flavorful sausage gravy. The gravy is typically made from cooked sausage, flour, milk, and seasonings, creating a rich sauce that pairs perfectly with the biscuits. Grandmothers often made biscuits and gravy because it was a comforting and filling breakfast that could be prepared quickly and easily. The soft, buttery biscuits provide a perfect base for the savory gravy, making each bite satisfying and indulgent. It's a dish that brings back memories of cozy mornings with family, where everyone gathers around the table to enjoy a delicious, hearty meal before starting the day. The beauty of biscuits and gravy lies in its simplicity. It's a dish that requires just a few basic ingredients, but delivers incredible flavor and satisfaction. Whether served with eggs or enjoyed on its own, it's a dish that has been cherished for generations, offering comfort and tradition in every bite. Here's another simple yet delicious recipe you won't want to miss.
I am making scalloped potatoes. They're gonna be cheesy and creamy.
Scalloped potatoes. Scalloped potatoes are a rich and creamy side dish made with thinly sliced potatoes layered in a baking dish and smothered in a luscious cream or cheese sauce. Often flavored with garlic, onion, and herbs, the dish is baked until the top is golden and bubbly, offering a satisfying combination of flavors and textures. Grandmothers loved making scalloped potatoes because they were an economical way to turn simple ingredients into something luxurious. This dish was often served at holiday dinners for family gatherings, pairing perfectly with roasts or ham. The tender potatoes and creamy sauce made it a comforting addition to any meal. Each family had its unique twist on the recipe, with some adding shredded cheese for a richer flavor or sprinkling breadcrumbs on top for a crunchy finish. Scalloped potatoes were also a great make-ahead dish, allowing grandmothers to focus on preparing other parts of the meal. For many, this dish evokes warm memories of family traditions, holidays, and the comforting presence of a grandmother's cooking. Its versatility and rich flavors have ensured that scalloped potatoes remain a beloved side dish across generations. Ready for something a little different? This next recipe is sure to impress.
We are making pineapple upside down cake.
Pineapple upside down cake. Pineapple upside down cake is a visually stunning dessert with a moist cake base topped with caramelized pineapple rings and maraschino cherries. The cake is baked with the fruit layer on the bottom, then flipped over before serving, revealing a beautiful, glossy top. Grandmothers often made this cake because it was simple to prepare and made use of pantry staples like canned pineapple and cake mix. The combination of the sweet, sticky topping and the soft cake made it a dessert that delighted both children and adults. Its bright, fruity flavor made it a popular choice for special occasions and summer gatherings. This cake also stood out for its presentation. The vibrant pineapple and cherries created an eye-catching centerpiece, adding a touch of nostalgia to the table. Whether served with a dollop of whipped cream or on its own, pineapple upside-down cake remains a cherished treat that showcases the ingenuity of home cooks. Its balance of flavors and timeless appeal make it a recipe worth preserving. We're about to jump into another recipe that's full of flavor.
And today, I'm gonna teach you how to make the ultimate chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie. Chicken pot pie is a warm and hearty dish that brings comfort with every bite. The dish features a flaky, buttery crust filled with a creamy mixture of tender chicken, vegetables like carrots, peas, and celery, and a flavorful gravy. Baked until golden brown, chicken pot pie is both a feast for the eyes and the palate. This dish was a staple in many grandmothers' kitchens because it was a practical way to use leftover chicken or turkey, stretching ingredients to feed a large family. The rich, savory filling and the satisfying crunch of the crust made it an instant favorite at the dinner table. It could also be customized with whatever vegetables were on hand, making it adaptable to the seasons or pantry availability. Chicken pot pie is more than just a meal. It's a symbol of comfort and love. For many, it evokes memories of family dinners, where the entire table would quiet down as everyone savored its goodness. The sight of the steaming pie being pulled from the oven, its aroma filling the house, is a nostalgic experience for countless people. Even today, chicken pot pie remains a beloved classic, a reminder of simpler times and the joy of homemade meals. Let's try something a little lighter with this next recipe.
I'm gonna show you how to make shepherd's pie. This is one of those classic dishes.
Shepherd pie. Shepherd's pie is a hearty, savory casserole traditionally made with minced lamb or beef layered with vegetables and topped with a thick, golden crust of creamy mashed potatoes. A staple comfort food, this dish blends the flavors of tender meat seasoned with herbs like thyme or rosemary, paired with carrots, peas, and onions, all simmered in a rich gravy. Once baked, the mashed potato topping becomes beautifully golden and slightly crispy, sealing in the flavorful filling. Grandmothers loved making shepherd's pie because it was practical, economical, and a guaranteed family favorite. It provided an excellent way to repurpose leftovers, particularly roasted meats, while ensuring nothing went to waste. With ingredients like potatoes, onions, and peas often being pantry staples, this dish was both budget-friendly and filling, making it perfect for feeding a crowd. Beyond its practicality, shepherd's pie is steeped in tradition. Its roots trace back to Ireland and England, where it was a rural favorite for generations. Grandmothers often added their unique touches, such as sprinkling cheese atop the mashed potatoes or mixing in Worcestershire sauce for a deeper flavor. The versatility of this dish made it adaptable to the seasons, with some recipes including root vegetables like parsnips in the winter months. The experience of preparing shepherd's pie was as cherished as eating it. Families often gathered to help in its preparation, mashing the potatoes or seasoning the meat. The aroma of this dish baking in the oven evoked warmth and comfort, creating anticipation for the shared meal. Today, it continues to be a timeless favorite, embodying nostalgia and the love of home-cooked meals. On to the next dish that adds a creative twist to your cooking.
We are making none other than chicken fried steak.
Chicken fried steak. Chicken fried steak is a southern comfort food that combines a crispy golden breading with tender, juicy beef. This dish is made by breading and frying thin cuts of beef, usually round steak or cube steak, and then smothering it in creamy, savory gravy. Grandmothers often made chicken fried steak because it was a hearty, affordable meal that could feed a family. The dish's roots are tied to the South, where it became a staple in many households. Grandmothers would often prepare chicken fried steak by first tenderizing the meat, dipping it in seasoned flour and egg, and then frying it until it was crispy and golden. The gravy was made from the pan drippings, milk, and flour, creating a creamy sauce to pour over the crispy steak. Chicken fried steak is often served with mashed potatoes, collard greens, or other vegetables, making it a filling meal. Its richness and the contrast between the crispy crust and the tender beef made it a favorite on Sunday dinners or holidays. This dish has continued to hold a special place in Southern kitchens, with many families passing down their unique recipes for the perfect chicken fried steak and gravy. Today, chicken fried steak is enjoyed across the country, with many home cooks trying to recreate their grandmother's version. The next recipe combines both quick prep time and big flavor.
In today's video, I'm going to share with you all on how I make deviled eggs the easy and simple way.
Deviled eggs. Deviled eggs are a classic appetizer that has been a staple at family gatherings for generations. Made from hard-boiled eggs, they are halved and filled with a creamy, tangy filling made from the yolks, mayonnaise, mustard, and often a touch of vinegar or relish. Some variations include paprika or bacon on top for extra flavor. For many grandmothers, deviled eggs were an easy yet impressive dish to prepare for parties, holidays, and gatherings. They could be made ahead of time, making them a convenient option for busy cooks. The rich and creamy filling paired with the slightly tangy kick of mustard or vinegar made deviled eggs a crowd-pleasing favorite. The beauty of deviled eggs lies in their versatility. Grandmothers often added their own special ingredients to customize the filling, whether it was a sprinkle of dill, a dash of hot sauce, or even a little pickle relish for crunch. The texture was important, creamy but not too runny, and just enough seasoning to give a savory bite. Deviled eggs are a reminder of family celebrations and shared moments, often making their way to the table for holidays like Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Now for a recipe that's all about comfort and simplicity.
I'm gonna show you how to make sweet potato casserole.
Sweet potato casserole. Sweet potato casserole is a rich, comforting dish that combines mashed sweet potatoes with a decadent topping of brown sugar, butter, and pecans. It's often served at holiday dinners, especially around Thanksgiving, where its creamy texture and sweet flavor make it a perfect side dish. Grandmothers typically prepared sweet potato casserole as part of a larger holiday spread. The sweet potatoes were mashed and mixed with ingredients like butter, cinnamon, and vanilla, creating a velvety base. The topping, made from brown sugar, butter, and chopped pecans or marshmallows, was the crowning glory of the dish. Some families even added a splash of orange juice or a sprinkle of nutmeg for extra flavor. The dish is not just a holiday favorite, but a comforting staple in Southern kitchens. Its combination of rich sweetness and savory undertones makes it a dish that could easily steal the spotlight on the table. Sweet potato casserole was often prepared ahead of time, allowing the flavors to meld together before it was baked to perfection. Today, sweet potato casserole continues to be a beloved recipe, with many people still following their grandmother's time-honored methods to make this dish for family celebrations. Here's a recipe that's as fresh as it is satisfying.
Today I'm making a traditional double-crusted cherry pie with a pretty polka-dotted crust.
Tart cherry pie. Tart cherry pie is a delightful dessert that showcases the bold, tangy flavor of fresh or frozen tart cherries. This pie is made by combining the cherries with sugar, cornstarch, and a bit of lemon juice, all baked in a flaky, buttery crust. The result is a sweet tart filling that contrasts beautifully with the tender golden crust. Grandmothers loved making tart cherry pie, especially in regions where cherries were plentiful during the summer months. The dish was popular because it offered a refreshing twist on traditional fruit pies, with the tart cherries providing a more complex flavor than the sweet variety. The preparation was simple, yet allowed for personalization. Some grandmothers added almond extract for a nutty flavor, while others included a lattice crust to make the pie extra special. The tart cherry pie has always been a symbol of summertime, evoking memories of picking fresh cherries from the tree or purchasing them at the local farmer's market. Whether served warm with a scoop of vanilla ice cream or chilled for a refreshing dessert on a hot day, this pie remains a beloved treat. Though tart cherries are seasonal, frozen cherries have made it easier to enjoy this pie year-round. Time to explore a recipe that's perfect for those who love bold flavors.
Today, you're gonna learn how to make baked ziti. It is a beefy, cheesy, saucy pasta casserole.
Baked ziti. Baked ziti is a classic Italian-American dish that's perfect for family dinners. It's made by combining ziti pasta with marinara sauce, ricotta cheese, mozzarella, and parmesan, then baking it until bubbly and golden. The simplicity of baked ziti has made it a favorite in many households, especially for large family gatherings. Grandmothers often made baked ziti because it was easy to prepare, yet satisfying enough to feed a crowd. The layers of pasta, cheese, and sauce combine to create a rich, comforting dish. Variations of the recipe might include ground beef or sausage, but the base remained the same: pasta, cheese, and sauce. The dish has roots in Italian-American cuisine, where it became a staple at Sunday dinners or holiday meals. The rich, cheesy filling paired perfectly with a simple salad and garlic bread, making it a savory meal that everyone could enjoy. Baked ziti was also a great way to use up leftover pasta and ingredients, making it both practical and delicious. Moving on, here's a dish that combines ease with excitement: frittata. The frittata is an Italian-style omelet that's easy to make and incredibly versatile. Typically made with eggs, cheese, vegetables, and sometimes meat, it's a dish that can be customized based on what ingredients are on hand. Grandmothers loved to make frittatas because they were a great way to use up leftovers while creating a meal that was both hearty and satisfying. The key to a good frittata is in the preparation. Eggs are beaten and poured over the filling ingredients, then cooked on the stove before being finished in the oven to create a golden crust. It can be made with just about anything: spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, potatoes, or bacon. Some grandmothers added their own unique touches, like fresh herbs or a sprinkle of parmesan. Frittatas were a common breakfast or brunch dish, but they could easily be enjoyed for lunch or dinner as well. They were a favorite among grandmothers because they were quick, affordable, and flexible enough to suit different tastes. The frittata is a reminder of how creative cooking could be, even when using simple, everyday ingredients. Let's turn our attention to a recipe that's sure to add variety to your meals: beef stroganoff. Beef stroganoff is a classic Russian dish that has become a favorite in many households, particularly in the United States. The dish features tender strips of beef cooked in a creamy sauce made with sour cream, onions, and mustard, often served over egg noodles or rice. Grandmothers enjoyed making beef stroganoff because it was both flavorful and elegant, yet relatively simple to prepare. The origins of beef stroganoff can be traced back to 19th century Russia, but it gained popularity in America during the mid-20th century, especially in the 1950s and 1960s. Grandmothers would make this dish for special occasions, family dinners, or holiday meals. The creamy sauce combined with the savory beef created a rich, satisfying meal that everyone could enjoy. What made beef stroganoff so appealing was its versatility. Some grandmothers used ground beef or substituted the beef for chicken or pork, depending on what they had on hand. Others might add mushrooms or garlic to enhance the flavor of the sauce. The dish was also a great way to use leftover beef, making it both practical and delicious. Let's try something a little lighter with this next dish: peach cobbler. Peach cobbler is a dessert that captures the essence of summer. It's made by layering fresh or canned peaches with a sweet biscuit or cake-like topping, which is then baked until golden and bubbly. Grandmothers often made peach cobbler because it was a simple yet indulgent way to showcase ripe, juicy peaches. The beauty of peach cobbler lies in its rustic charm. The sweet peaches are complemented by the buttery topping, which soaks up the peach juices as it bakes. Some grandmothers used a biscuit dough, while others made a cake-like batter that puffed up over the fruit. Variations Variations might include a sprinkle of cinnamon or nutmeg, adding an extra layer of flavor. Peach cobbler was a dish often made in the summer when peaches were in season, but it could easily be enjoyed year-round with canned peaches. The dessert was perfect for family gatherings, barbecues, or a comforting end to a weeknight dinner. It was often served with a scoop of vanilla ice cream, making it even more indulgent. Peach cobbler has stood the test of time as a nostalgic dessert. Today, many people still enjoy making it using their grandmother's recipe, especially when peaches are in season. The dish remains a symbol of family, comfort, and the sweetness of summer. If you're all about simplicity and comfort, the next recipe is for you. Bread pudding. Bread pudding is a comforting, classic dessert made from stale bread soaked in a custard mixture of eggs, milk, sugar, and spices, often flavored with cinnamon or nutmeg. Once baked, it results in a warm, rich dessert that has been a staple in many households. Grandmothers often made bread pudding because it was a fantastic way to use up leftover bread, making it a thrifty yet delicious treat. What sets bread pudding apart from other desserts is its versatility. It can be made with various types of bread, including white bread, challah, or brioche, each bringing a different texture and flavor. Some grandmothers like to add raisins, nuts, or even chocolate chips for extra sweetness and texture. Bread pudding is a perfect dessert for cozy nights at home, and it often feels like a hug in a bowl. Bread pudding is an excellent choice for large family gatherings or potlucks because it's easy to make in big batches and can be served to a crowd. Many grandmothers would prepare it for holidays when feeding extended family was a must. It's also the kind of dessert that gets better the next day, allowing the flavors to meld together beautifully. Let's move on to a dish that's both nutritious and full of flavor. Clam chowder. Clam chowder, particularly the creamy New England variety, is a rich and comforting soup that has graced many dinner tables for generations. Made with tender clams, potatoes, onions, celery, and a creamy broth, clam chowder has long been a favorite for chilly days. Grandmothers often made clam chowder because it was not only satisfying but also relatively simple to prepare. One of the key elements that make clam chowder so special is its base, a rich, creamy broth that blends perfectly with the sweetness of the clams and the softness of the potatoes. Some grandmothers would add a bit of bacon for extra flavor, while others might include fresh herbs like thyme or parsley to brighten the dish. It is a dish with deep historical roots in New England, where it was first made by settlers using local shellfish. It quickly became a beloved comfort food, especially for coastal communities. Its rich flavor and satisfying nature made it a perfect dish for warming up after a long day. The dish is still cherished by many today, especially in coastal regions. Moving on, here's a recipe that has been passed down through generations. Chicken and rice. Chicken and rice is a classic comfort food that many grandmothers made on busy weeknights. It's a simple dish of chicken simmered with rice, often with vegetables and flavorful seasonings. The beauty of this recipe lies in its simplicity, yet it's incredibly hearty and satisfying. Grandmothers loved making this dish because it was easy to prepare, affordable, and could feed a family with minimal effort. One of the key elements that made chicken and rice so delicious was the way the flavors melded together during cooking. The chicken would impart its juices into the rice, creating a rich, savory flavor. Many grandmothers added ingredients like onions, garlic, or bell peppers to enhance the taste. Some also included spices like paprika or turmeric, which gave the dish an extra depth of flavor. Chicken and rice is a versatile dish that can be made in numerous ways. Some grandmothers used white rice, while others preferred brown rice for a more wholesome version. Adding a side of steamed vegetables or a simple salad made it a balanced meal that could be enjoyed any day of the week. Today, chicken and rice remains a beloved family meal. Let's keep the tradition alive with another classic recipe that's sure to please. Cranberry sauce. Cranberry sauce is a simple yet essential accompaniment to many holiday meals, especially Thanksgiving. Made from fresh cranberries, sugar, and water, cranberry sauce offers a tart and sweet contrast to savory dishes like turkey and stuffing. Grandmothers often made cranberry sauce from scratch because it was easy, inexpensive, and allowed them to add a personal touch to a holiday meal. The beauty of homemade cranberry sauce lies in its simplicity. The tartness of the cranberries pairs beautifully with the sweetness of sugar, creating a well-balanced condiment. Some grandmothers would add orange zest, cinnamon, or even a splash of brandy to enhance the flavor profile. The sauce could be served fresh and chunky or chilled and jellied, depending on personal preference. Cranberry sauce is not only a holiday favorite, but it's also a dish that can be enjoyed year-round. While it's most commonly associated with Thanksgiving and Christmas, it can be a delicious addition to any meal, from grilled meats to roasted vegetables. It's also a fantastic way to preserve fresh cranberries when they're in season. Ready for something that tastes just like home? This next recipe has you covered. Southern-style collard greens. Collard greens, a true Southern staple, were frequently found on Grandma's table, often simmered with savory meats like ham hocks, smoked turkey, or bacon. The key to making collard greens just right was cooking them low and slow, allowing the greens to soften and soak up the rich flavors from the meat, creating a deep, comforting taste. Grandma often added a splash of vinegar to cut through the richness, balancing the flavor and adding a bit of tang to the earthy greens. The texture of well-cooked collard greens is one of the most important aspects. Tender, but not mushy, with the leaves still holding some shape and structure. These greens were typically served alongside a savory meal, often accompanying fried chicken, cornbread, and mashed potatoes. They were a reminder of the Southern tradition of using every part of the plant, as well as the resourcefulness of older generations. Collard greens symbolized the heart and soul of Southern cooking. Whether you enjoyed them for lunch or dinner, they were always a dish that brought families together and created a sense of warmth at the table. Up next, a simple yet satisfying recipe that's a staple in every grandma's kitchen: marinated pea salad. Marinated pea salad is a dish that transports you to summers spent at Grandma's house, where fresh vegetables were often the highlight of the meal. This simple salad, made from canned or frozen peas, was elevated by a tangy marinade that combined vinegar, mustard, sugar, and mayonnaise. The sweetness of the sugar complemented the tartness of the vinegar, while the mustard added a little zing to the flavor profile. Grandmas often mixed in crunchy diced onions, sweet bell peppers, and sometimes even a few crispy bacon bits for added texture and flavor. The peas themselves were sweet, tender, and perfectly coated in the dressing. This salad was the epitome of a side dish that was both refreshing and satisfying. Its versatility made it perfect for any meal, from picnics to family dinners, and it was always a hit at holiday gatherings. Unlike many heavy salads that could weigh down a meal, Nana's marinated pea salad provided a bright contrast to richer dishes, making it the ideal companion for fried chicken, ham, or a roast. Up next, we have a dish that's perfect for any occasion: dandelion cookies. Dandelion cookies are one of those unexpected yet delightful treats that were often found in Grandma's kitchen. These cookies, made from the petals of dandelions, showcased Grandma's knack for using natural, homegrown ingredients to create delicious and unique baked goods. Grandma would carefully pick the bright yellow petals, making sure to remove any stems or leaves, as they could impart bitterness. The cookies themselves were soft, chewy, and subtly sweet, with the dandelion's floral flavor being the star of the show. To enhance the flavor, Grandma sometimes added a dash of vanilla or a bit of lemon zest, bringing out the cookies with fresh, delicate notes. These cookies were often made during the spring and summer when dandelions were in full bloom, making them a perfect way to celebrate the changing seasons. Dandelion cookies are no longer a common treat, but they represent a simpler time when food was made with care and creativity. Eating one of Grandma's dandelion cookies was like taking a bite of nostalgia, a sweet reminder of her love for both the natural world and her family. Time to revisit another classic that will remind you of family dinners: chocolate cream pie. Chocolate cream pie was a decadent dessert that frequently made an appearance at Grandma's table, especially during special occasions like birthdays and holidays. The rich chocolate filling was made with cocoa powder, sugar, and eggs, then cooked to a creamy consistency and poured into a buttery, flaky pie crust. The pie was topped with a layer of freshly whipped cream and often garnished with chocolate shavings or a dusting of cocoa powder. What made Grandma's chocolate cream pie stand out was its perfect balance between sweetness and richness, as well as the smooth texture of the chocolate filling. The pie crust, whether homemade or store-bought, provided a crisp contrast to the creamy filling, making every bite a delightful experience. Grandma's version of this classic dessert was often served chilled, allowing the flavors to fully develop and the filling to set to the perfect consistency. Chocolate cream pie is a dessert that combines simplicity with indulgence, making it the perfect ending to a family dinner. This beloved dessert, with its timeless appeal, continues to be a favorite for many, and Grandma's recipe is a cherished part of family celebrations. Time for another forgotten gem that deserves a comeback on your tables: green bean almondine. Green bean almondine is a classic dish that Grandma often prepared as a side for Sunday dinners or holiday meals. This elegant yet simple dish consisted of fresh green beans sautéed in butter, then topped with toasted almonds for added crunch and flavor. The rich, nutty flavor of the almonds paired perfectly with the tender green beans, while the butter and lemon juice added a layer of richness and brightness to the dish. Grandma's version often included a touch of garlic, which brought a savory depth to the beans without overpowering the delicate flavors. The beauty of green bean almondine lies in its simplicity. It's a dish that celebrates the natural taste of the green beans while enhancing them with just a few flavorful additions. This dish was often served with roasted chicken, beef, or fish, making it a versatile accompaniment to a variety of meals. Its light yet satisfying nature made it a popular choice for gatherings, and it was often requested at family events and holidays. The next recipe is of a dish that stood the test of time: cucumber and onion salad. Grandma's cucumber and onion salad was a side dish that graced the table during summer months. This simple yet flavorful salad was made with thinly sliced cucumbers and onions, often seasoned with salt, pepper, and a tangy dressing made from vinegar, sugar, and a touch of mustard. The combination of the crisp cucumbers and sharp onions created a satisfying contrast, while the dressing tied everything together with its sweet and sour notes. It was an ideal accompaniment to grilled meats, fried fish, or sandwiches, offering a light and crunchy contrast to heavier dishes. The salad's versatility made it a popular choice for picnics, barbecues, and family gatherings. What made Grandma's version so special was the balance of flavors, neither too sweet nor too sour, and the fact that it was made from simple, fresh ingredients that she grew herself. It was a dish that reflected her ability to turn basic produce into something delicious and memorable. Whether it was served as a side or enjoyed on its own, this cucumber and onion salad was a staple of Grandma's table and a testament to her love of homemade food. Very gathering. Let's take a step back in time with the next recipe: homemade granola. Grandma's homemade granola was a breakfast staple in her household, known for its wholesome, satisfying crunch. This simple yet nutritious dish was made by baking a mix of oats, nuts, and honey until golden brown and crispy. Grandma often used a variety of nuts like almonds, walnuts, and pecans to add flavor and texture, and she always ensured that the granola was packed with fiber and protein. The touch of honey, combined with cinnamon, gave the granola a delicious aroma that filled the house while it baked. Sometimes they usually added dried fruit like raisins, cranberries, or apricots after baking, giving the granola a slightly chewy texture to complement the crunch. It was often served with milk or yogurt and topped with fresh fruit for a balanced, energizing start to the day. Granola is one of those recipes that can be easily adapted to suit different tastes and dietary preferences, but grandmas loved making this dish with the simplest, healthiest ingredients. It's a recipe that has stood the test of time and is still a favorite in many kitchens today. The next recipe is a classic that's sure to make its way back to your table: buttermilk pancakes. Buttermilk pancakes were the star of many weekend breakfasts, serving as a nostalgic meal for families gathered around the table. Grandmothers knew how to make pancakes perfectly fluffy, using just the right amount of buttermilk to create the soft, airy texture that made each bite melt in the mouth. The pancake batter was typically made from scratch, with flour, eggs, and buttermilk as the base ingredients, creating a rich flavor that paired beautifully with butter and syrup. Sometimes a dash of vanilla or a sprinkle of cinnamon would be added to enhance the flavor profile. The beauty of this recipe was in its simplicity. The pancakes were easy to make and could be whipped up in no time, yet they always felt special. Whether served plain or topped with fresh berries, whipped cream, or a drizzle of maple syrup, they were always a treat. For many, these pancakes were associated with family time, filling the home with the sweet aroma of cooking and symbolizing warmth and care. Let's finish strong with a recipe that's bound to bring smiles to your table: beef and noodles. Beef and noodles, a savory and filling dish, was another favorite on many grandmothers' tables. The combination of tender beef, savory broth, and soft noodles made for a meal that was both satisfying and comforting. Often slow-cooked, the beef would become tender and flavorful, releasing its juices into the broth, which was typically seasoned with herbs like thyme, rosemary, and bay leaves. Grandmothers knew how to balance the textures and flavors, with vegetables like carrots and onions added to round out the dish. Egg noodles, often homemade, would cook right in the same pot as the beef, absorbing the rich flavors of the broth. The dish was comforting on cold days, providing not just nourishment, but a sense of warmth and togetherness. Beef and noodles could be served as a filling main course, or in smaller portions as part of a larger family meal. Its simplicity made it an easy go-to meal, yet the depth of flavor created through slow cooking ensured that it was anything but ordinary. Whether made with leftovers or from scratch, beef and noodles provided a taste of home, rich in tradition and flavor, making it a cherished recipe in many households. These recipes are more than just dishes. They're treasured memories that connect us to the past. Whether it's the comforting flavors of a homemade stew or the sweetness of a classic dessert, these meals bring a sense of warmth and nostalgia. Bringing these recipes back to our kitchens is a wonderful way to honor family traditions and keep those special moments alive.